Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Ask Huda. I am your host, Fuad Muhammad. Well, for those tuning in for the first time, Ask Huda is a platform for answering all the questions you might have about everything in life, giving you the Islamic perspective. Is also a means of clarifying any misconceptions you might have about this great religion of ours. And the person who's responsible for answering your questions today is no other than Dr. Muhammad Salah. Assalamu alaikum, Doctor.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair for being with us.
Wa jazakum.
Just a quick reminder of our telephone numbers, 00-202-38-555-248 or 249. Or you can write to us at ask, that's ASK, @huda.tv. Dr. Muhammad, just before we go into our first question from the pending questions, we know the present situation in Palestine, and once again our brothers and sisters are suffering at the hands of people who don't really stand up for peace. Is this something that will go on? What do you see in terms of this present situation?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa al-aqibatu lil-muttaqeen wa la udwana illa ala al-zalimin wa salatu wa salamu على سيد الأولين والآخرين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I praise Allah the Almighty alone, and I send the best peace and salutation upon His most beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and I seek His help in achieving every kind and righteous act that would please Him. And I beg Him for forgiveness and to accept our righteous deeds. Ameen. First of all, I would like to confirm a fact that we're dealing with a very wicked enemy. Israel is not an existing being that would look or would agree to peace treaties or terms at all. Ever since the occupation of the Zionists to Israel, to Palestine, there are tens of UN, United Nations resolutions, Western resolutions, Arabic resolutions. Israel did not abide by any of them. This is history. Everyone can search the net and find out about those resolutions and go through them and find out that those people are not looking for peace. They are not peaceful people. Rather, they're looking for peace. They want another peace until they capture the whole Jerusalem. Jerusalem, to us brothers and sisters, is a sacred and a holy place that, first of all, we have to understand the origin of the sacredness and importance and significance of Jerusalem. In it, there is the farthest mosque, and it has a story. When was it built? Was it built after the Jews occupied Palestine or before, or how old was it? In a collection that is highly sound, collected by Bukhari or Muslim, Abu Dharr al-Ghifari, may Allah be pleased with him, asked the Prophet ﷺ, saying that which mosque, which masjid was put first on earth. So Nabi ﷺ said, Al-Masjid al-Haram, the sacred mosque in Mecca. Then he asked him, and then what was the next masjid? He said, Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, and that was in Jerusalem, in Palestine. So Abu Dharr al-Ghifari asked the Prophet ﷺ, what was the time frame or the time between building Al-Masjid al-Haram and Al-Masjid al-Aqsa? These informations are very important and valuable for Muslims in order to understand that Jerusalem is not an Arabic matter. It's not only limited to the Middle East. Does not only belong to the Palestinians or the Gaza people or Jerusalem people. This is an issue that should concern every Muslim.
Okay.
The Zionist lobbies in the West and the US have been working hard on altering the syllabus that the Muslim students are studying, whether in the States, in Europe, or even in the Muslim countries, not to deal with these facts.
Yes.
And they managed so far to infiltrate the Ministry of Educations in many of the Muslim countries, to the extent in Al-Azhar itself. Many of those informations, when we were in the middle school, we were taught all about the Jews. All about the battles that the Prophet ﷺ fought against Banu Nadir, Bani Qaynuqa', Bani Qurayza, and how he kicked out Khaybar and others. This is very, very important. In order to understand the nature of the conflict between us and the Zionists. It is not a political conflict. It's not about land. Okay. It is a religious conflict. It is about the enemies of Allah the Almighty, who want to destroy the entire world, as they have done in the past, before even Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was born, as they have done by killing many of their prophets, and by accusing falsely many of their prophets whom we revere, and we say peace be upon all of them. The Quran told us all about that they have no respect for no one. They do not revere no one. Israel is not a state of peace. No. On the contrary, they are in violation of the international law, of anything that is humane. They have no mercy. They are very prejudiced. And what we see and what we have seen over the past years is the best proof to that. We're not making up alleged claims or false informations. The entire world watched closely their barbaric attack on innocent civilian people in Gaza. Have used every forbidden possible mean to humiliate them, to kill them. That's a genocide. And Goldstone report came against them. And what was the result? Nothing. Nobody did anything. So I want to tell the Muslims worldwide, 1.4 billion Muslims, don't you expect that the US or Europe or European Council or the United Nations to take your rights from the enemies or to liberate Jerusalem or protect it from the Zionists? That's not going to happen. A few days ago, Biden, the vice president, American vice president, who was pro-Israelis and pro-Zionist, was visiting Israel. While he was visiting with Netanyahu, in order to push forward the peace process, what happened? They embarrassed him and the whole State Department, big time. They embarrassed their biggest ally, the United States of America, by declaring and initiating the building of a new settlement consists of 1,600 units in an area which is forbidden for them to build any new settlement. When President Obama came in power, one of his promises was to establish a peace, to resume the peace process, and establish peace treaties between the Israelis and the Arab. I want to say, it is not the Israelis and the Arab. It is not the Israelis and the Palestinians. It is the Israelis and the entire Muslim Ummah. It is our problem with the Israelis at large. Every single Muslim, whether Malaysians, Indonesians, Chinese, or an American. And I'm not asking the Muslim rulers to react to protect Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa and the Rock of the Dome and the sacred places in Jerusalem by paying their lives as sacrifices, such as Rachel Corrie, the American girl, young girl who is an activist, who traveled to Palestine in order to protest the barbaric attacks and the inhumane way of treating human beings, the original owners of the land in Palestine. How was she treated? This is an American citizen. She is a practicing, committed Christian girl. They bulldozed her. They brutally killed her, and no one was blamed. She was wearing an orange coat. I was invited to attend her ceremony in the church in Houston, and I'm just amazed that what happened to the United States, what happened to justice. So if you're looking forward for non-Muslims to adopt this matter and protect you, then you're dreaming, and you're gravely mistaken. That's not going to happen. Israel does not recognize but a single language, which is the language of power, not peace. Look, just a couple of months when they tried to humiliate the Turkish ambassador, and everybody have seen that. When the Turkish Prime Minister threatened them, if you do not offer an official apology by the end of the day, we will kick out your ambassador. They could not afford to lose this kind of relationship. And the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, everybody offered, and the President offered an official apology. So they understand only one language. It is the language of power. So what I'm asking from the Muslim rulers, number one, it is your duty before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to understand that Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, the farthest mosque, and its protection is the responsibility and the duty of every Muslim. The foremost part of this responsibility is laid down upon the Muslim rulers, on their shoulders. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the beginning of Surah Al-Isra, سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. This is our sacred property. The Jews and the Zionists claim that, well, we've been there before, we have the right over it. That's not true. Read the history. Read the history. According to the hadith which I stated earlier, that Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa was built 40 years after Al-Masjid Al-Haram. 1,000 years or more before David or Solomon were born, peace be upon them. Then there came Prophet David and Solomon, who entered Jerusalem through Prophet David, peace be upon him, then who entrusted his son to reconstruct the temple or Al-Masjid there. Dawood, Sulaiman, and all the prophets of Bani Israel are all the prophets of Islam. This is the belief of Muslims.
Yes.
So, when it comes to historical facts, the actual time that the Jews spent in Palestine after it belonged to the Arab initially was during the era of Prophet David and his son Solomon. That is 73 years total. When the Arab owned the land even before Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. 4 centuries. Then, we also want to say that when Muslims entered Jerusalem and Umar ibn Khattab arrived to it, he found the dome, he found the rock, which Jews used to face in their prayers, was contaminated, and the Christians used to cast their trash on it, so he cleaned it up, and he built a masjid right in front of it. Then there came Al-Walid ibn Abd al-Malik during the Umayyad Khilafah, who constructed a fantastic mosque in this area, and he built the dome which we see on top of this rock. So to us the entire area is sacred. The Prophet ﷺ said, it is not permissible to undertake a journey to any masjid on earth except one of the 3 sacred masajid, Al-Masjid Al-Haram in Mecca, the prophetic masjid in Al-Madinah, and the farthest mosque, and it was called Al-Aqsa, or the farthest, because it was the farthest away from Mecca. It's a long distance. That belonged to Muslims. So, this is the property and the responsibility of every Muslim. As I said, I'm not going to exaggerate and ask the Muslim rulers and Muslim regimes and the Arab regimes to sacrifice their lives, because that's not going to happen. Such as Richard Khoury and the brave Palestinian brothers and sisters who are very steadfast, whether in Gaza or in Palestine at large. I would just ask them to sever their relationship with those Zionists. They are the worst world criminals. This is not my statement. I have several reports from the Time magazine just a few months back, late 2009. They have uncovered the biggest money laundering. And who's involved in that? The Shas Party and several Jewish rabbis. And I have seen them being handcuffed and arrested. Doing what? Human trafficking. Selling human bodies, human body parts. And we have known that they are involved in killing innocent people and trafficking their body parts. Those are the kind of people whom we're dealing with. So when we know that there is a Muslim ruler or a Muslim regime that's dealing with them, supporting them by any possible means, or establishing a relationship with them, then this person is responsible before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the murder of other Muslims. Muslims who are under siege in Gaza now have exceeded 1,000 days. Civilians under these horrible conditions, and the entire world is watching. If Muslims are not doing anything, why are we asking the States and Europe to do anything? It is not their problem. It is not their responsibility. The neighboring Muslim countries who are providing and supplying this evil being with gas, with natural gas, with supplies, with building materials, with all of that, are responsible before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What we need to do as individuals right now is start buying books on Islamic history. Fill our libraries with, and public libraries, and hold classes and sessions, even if they're banned in Muslim countries. And you know why? Start teaching yourself and your children about the nature of the relationship between Muslims and those guys, in the light of the Quran and the Sunnah. You've got to know who is your enemy. Those guys who violated the sovereignty of another sovereign country in a few days back. They have forged many European passports from several European countries, and they traveled to Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, where they assassinated a Palestinian civilian there, using forged documents in order to include the whole world in this dilemma. This is a kind of enemy whom we're dealing with. They're lobbying everywhere to confiscate the Muslim resources. They managed to stop all the Muslim charity organizations who were actively working in supporting orphanages and Muslim da'wah causes in the States and Europe. While they're working hard through their organizations, and this is not my words, you can type and go to Times and the Time magazine, and you will find out all the documents concerning that. I do have pictures as well, that those guys are money laundering through the charity organizations. And we cannot support our brothers and sisters in Gaza simply because we are so frightened. Those guys are the most coward people on earth. And this is what the Quran says. The Quran says, لا يقاتلونكم جميعا إلا في قرى محصنة أو من وراء جدر. We can wait to have the day where we face them man to man, where we show them the strength of belief. But unfortunately, we are in a condition or situation where we're being controlled by some regimes who do not understand their duties in this life, who do not realize the shortness of life. And in a few days, in a few months or a few years, they're gonna die. And they will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will be asked about their responsibilities. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. What can I do as Muhammad or as Fuad or as an individual who does not have an access to go to protect Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa by himself or herself? I would ask everybody to stand up at night, and before making dua in the night prayer in Qiyamul Layl, make a new promise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be a better Muslim, and ask Him to forgive you your sins. Make a new covenant that you will quit committing sins and watching evil channels, evil programs, that you will educate your children properly and your families about those guys and about what Allah wants from us, and prepare them for the right moment. Then start making dua. Making dua, which is the most powerful weapon that we possess as Muslims. Whether we have militarily means or not, a dua is the most sophisticated and the most powerful mean. And that's why this is what they fear the most, and trust me, I know better. So I want everybody who's watching me right now to stand up at night and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to destroy the enemies and the perpetrators, Ask Allah to guide the Muslim rulers and the Muslim citizens, and put in the heart of everyone the love of Shahada, the love of the Deen, the recognition of our responsibilities. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to support our brothers and sisters in Palestine, especially Gaza, who's been under siege for more than 1,000 days so far. And the whole world is numb. It's like those people are not even humans. Wallahi, if it was a cat or a dog that's stranded or got stuck somewhere in a light box or in a pit or here or there or in an abandoned apartment in America, the whole media 24/7 will be covering that. We're having 1 million plus innocent people, civilians, sick children, pregnant women, who lose their babies at road blockades because their enemies have no mercy. They respect no laws. I only fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I don't mind whatever happens to me if I ever say the truth. And this is the best mean and the best way of shahada. As the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, كَلِمَةُ حَقٍّ عِنْدَ سُلْطَانٍ جَائِرٍ. It is my responsibility not just to answer questions about the ministration and about the sunan and the nawafil of the salah and ignore this most important concept, which is the demolition of Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa and the humiliation of our brothers and sisters who happen to be praying there, and we act blind and deaf like we do not know anything about it. No, it is my responsibility. If I cannot change the munkar, the evil, by my hand, then by my tongue, by the word. And I put my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I understand that as a few days ago, where this blessed channel was about to close because we did not have the fund to settle our debt, but there are some sincere Muslims right there who have been praying, and Allah, the Almighty, accepted their dua. I count on you, brothers and sisters. I count on your dua in lifting this dilemma and rescuing the entire Muslim ummah from the enemies. Stop counting on peace process. Stop counting on the West to rescue us or assist us. They started digging since 1967, since the 60s, looking for what? Solomon's temple. Have they found anything? No. And they will not find nothing. Basically, all what they're looking for is the demolition of Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa and the humiliation of Muslims. And what will happen with the Muslim rulers? With the Islamic regimes, or most of them, they would ask their citizens to control themselves, to be peaceful, or otherwise we will be portrayed in the Western media as terrorists. The real terrorists are those Israeli Zionists. Now it is no secret. You can read that everywhere in the written media. You can see it in the audio and video media. So we have to spread this word, and we have to strengthen our ties with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Him that we're ready and we're willing to do anything to protect our belief. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, من سأل الله الشهادة بصدق بلغه الله منازل الشهداء ولو مات على فراشه. If one is sincere in his intention that he wanted to be a martyr for the sake of Allah, even if he happened to die on his bed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise him to the ranks of ash-shuhada. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us this opportunity and utilize us to serve His deen in the best way and to liberate Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, similar to what Salah ad-Din Al-Ayyubi, may Allah have mercy on him, did when he liberated Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem at the year 580 after the migration of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the Crusades. And definitely we are able to do that. But this is just a reminder for everybody, whether a ruler or a follower, with our responsibilities, and everyone is asked to do as much as we can. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. So join us in making dua, not just tonight, on every single night, that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala liberate Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa and Jerusalem from the hands of the Zionists. May Allah give us victory over them. May Allah destroy the enemies. May Allah make us better Muslims. Ameen.
Ameen. Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We have Sister Farah from the United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum, sister. You're live and ask other questions, please.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers of Huda TV and Sheikh Saleh. I'm sorry to be calling you and about a question. Actually, there are two questions which I have to ask you. The first one is when you had told us that you wanted to, for the support Huda.
No.
I had tried to send money and I got the reply and all the account details, but whenever I approached money exchange or the bank, they kept asking me, is it a dollar account and are you donating? You cannot put donation, you cannot put charity, and the money is still with me. So I feel, is it that Allah is not accepting what I'm trying to do for this cause?
Okay.
First of all, I would answer the later part of the question, because the first is kind of technical. No, not at all. This is not a sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept or does not want to accept your charity. That's something between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it perhaps somebody who would find it very easy to donate, not just necessarily for a good cause or another, for any reason. And after it has been donated, it will not be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Acceptance is something that is a secret between the servant and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It depends on sincerity, it depends on having a lawful earning in order to be accepted in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna Allah ta'ala tayyibun la yaqbalu illa tayyiba, etc. But a shaitan is the biggest obstacle between us and achieving righteous deeds. So that's why we will find many obstacles. We would find things that would hinder us from doing good and kind deeds. That should not stop us, whether for this cause or any other good cause. Somebody who's planning to pray at night, he got up, oops, there is no water, or there is a power outage. No. I would still look for a little bit of water. If there is no water at all, I would perform tayammum and I would still pray. I do not say it seems like Allah doesn't want me to pray. Or somebody is saving money to go for Hajj, but they said, oh, there is no visa or whatever. You don't say Allah doesn't want me to perform Hajj. Do your best, because have you done your best and your mission was not accomplished, your reward is guaranteed 100%. من هم بحسنة فلم يعملها كتبت له حسنة كاملة. With regards to the first part, if you send us an email right now, I will redirect it to those who are in charge in the administration department, and I want to confirm it is not a donation. We do not accept donations, and we're not allowed by law to accept donations. Rather, it is a mean of sponsoring a program or more. Jazakumullahu khairan. Perhaps that is the only difficulty with many people when they send them a contract. This is a contract of sponsoring some programs. This is for everybody to understand. By law, we're not allowed to raise funds or collect donations. But everybody loves the program, or he wants to participate in the reward or take a share of this good cause. You can say, I'd like to sponsor this program or whatever through your contribution. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We have Brother Mukhtar as well from the UAE. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live and ask Quran.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Sheikh, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, Mukhtar. How are you?
I'm alhamdulillah good. Sheikh, I wanted to ask a question. If supposing you enter a mosque and the imam is leading the prayer, and the first row is full, and you are alone in the second, so are you going to wait for someone to come and then you start your prayer, or are you going to pull someone from the first row and then you start your prayer?
Okay, very good question, Mukhtar.
This is one question. Second.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
The second question is, if I'm like, my clothes and my body, I'm clean, but then, hello, are you listening?
Yes, go ahead, brother.
But then, I'm not in wudu. So can I read the Arabic text of the Quran? Is it possible? But I'm actually I say I'm clean, I'm impure.
Okay. Got it, Brother Mukhtar. Jazakallah khair there, Brother Mukhtar from the UAE. We'll take a short break here on Ask Huda, and we'll be back right after this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
If you're 18 or if you're 80. If you've been Muslim for 50 years or 5 minutes, this is a show for you. You know, when 5 times a day our foreheads touch the ground in prayer, we beg for what's most important in our lives. We want to be good people, better Muslims. We want to serve Allah Almighty with all our hearts. In this show, Let's Talk, every week we're going to talk about Islam and life, how to relate with other people and how to serve Allah. We'll have studio guests, we'll have a live studio audience, there'll be an email for you to write to, talk@huda.tv. So if you're looking for something different, looking for something that will make you think, maybe even touch your heart, this is the show for you.
The true life of the Muslim starts at death. If you wish to enhance your knowledge of the Islamic perspective on the hereafter, this life doesn't go on forever, but we do so little to prepare for it because most of us don't know what happens after this life ends. If you want to be amongst those who know, then join us every Saturday at 1930 GMT for the inevitable journey. According to the Quran, we live in a universe that worships Allah. It is not just human beings who celebrate His praises, but animals as well. Join us every Wednesday at 20 GMT for your show, Even Animals Glorified. Earth, the human heart, greed, exploitation, hatred, all diseases of the heart. For the cure, join Huda TV every Sunday at 20 GMT for Moments for the Heart.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're still with Ask Huda. Just a quick reminder of our telephone numbers 00-202-385555, 248 or 249. Or you can send us an email at ask, that's ask@huda.tv. We start off with Brother Maqbool from the United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda. Brother Maqbool, are you with us? Yes, go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry we lost Brother Maqbool. We have Sister Nadia as well from Egypt. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
I have 2 questions actually. The first one is about zakah.
Okay.
Should I am zakah, I owe zakah, I pay zakah.
Mm-hmm.
And then فلنفرض I let's assume that I pay 2,000 every year.
Okay.
And then I got a sum of money before the Dhul Hijjah.
Okay.
Should I wait for a whole year to pay zakah from this money, or I pay the 2,000 and the added money, the 2.5% of the added money?
Okay.
And the other question is about the mawarith,
Okay.
the inheritance.
Okay.
It concerns a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Can I please send an email and you answer me through email?
We'll do our best, inshallah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. There's another question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
The photographs of me before I wear hijab.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do about them? And some of these photographs are not with me; they are with my friends. We were in an outing or in a wedding or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We also have Sister Habiba from the UAE. Assalamu alaikum, sister. You're live on Ask Huda. Your questions, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
May I bless all of you, and especially Muhammad Salam for speaking so boldly. We need such people because if each and every one of us are bold, this ummah will stand like a wall. Nobody can shake them. We need people to speak boldly, to act boldly. May Allah bless you, protect you till Yawm al-Qiyamah, inshallah.
Ameen.
All of you.
Ameen.
My daughter had asked about Salahuddin Ayyubi.
Okay.
I had taken one book from the library. There are many books that are mixing up and giving things, and I get scared. When I read, there was some mixture in that, and so we returned the book. I want you to give us little details about Salahuddin Ayyubi, his childhood, how he became it, what inspired him.
Okay.
Secondly, my daughter had also asked one question about, in her Deen book she had done about, there's a difference of ulama, and it is a rahmah for the ummah. It is not a hadith, but it is said by one of the scholars, I think. I want you to explain this.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Wa alaikum assalam. That's Habiba there from the UAE. We also have Brother Fasih from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah.
Sheikh, I just had one question. Should we as Muslims believe in the conspiracy theories? I mean, most of my friends in the school believe in some documentaries that they from London, I don't know from where. But they believe that the Jews as a whole are trying to control Muslims, and whatever action you do is controlled from somewhere or the other. And I personally believe that it's a very stupid belief. So can you please clarify my doubt on that?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
That's Brother Fasih there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Brother Mukhtar asked about, he said when he enters the masjid and the imam is praying, and the first line is completely full.
Yeah.
What is he supposed to do? Take someone from the front side, or can he pray by himself in the second?
In a sound hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, لا صلاة لمنفرد خلف الصف, which means it nullifies the validity of a prayer if a person prays behind the row by himself. Which means if you enter the masjid, you must fit in a row. You should not be praying by yourself. But what if you enter late and there is no room in the row and it is complete, and now nobody is coming by? So if I wait for somebody to come and join me in order to be two in the next row, I might miss a rak'ah, I might miss the whole prayer. Maybe nobody would show up. Everybody came on time, for instance. So in this condition, this hadith, according to the more right view, and Allah knows best, is relating to somebody who chooses to pray by himself behind the row, not in a jama'ah. I mean, you pray with the imam in a jama'ah, but you pray by yourself in a row, even though there is a room. So if there is a room, and if there is a possibility to join somebody in the row, then the hadith is effective, and the salah will be nullified. The nullification of the validity of the prayer. But if you enter the masjid, and you cannot find a room in the saf or in the row, then it is permissible to pray by yourself, until you're joined by somebody else, of course. Some scholars suggested to tap on somebody's shoulder and pull him back to join you in your row. That's a suggestion, but it doesn't really rely on an evidence. In addition to, I wouldn't like to be withdrawn from a superior row, because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, خَيْرُ صُفُوفِ الرِّجَالِ أَوَّلُهَا. So the first is superior to the second row, superior to the third, etc. So if somebody pulls me or taps on my shoulder, I don't have to comply with him and go back. So if you enter the masjid and there is no room and you pray by yourself for this reason, your prayer inshallah is still valid.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We have Brother Hamza from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam, Hamza. Alhamdulillah wa shukrullah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Sir, pray for me.
May Allah bless you and your family and the entire ummah at large.
Ameen.
Inshallah. Sir, I have two questions.
Go ahead.
One question is that when some people die,
it's in Indian tradition and Pakistani tradition, like they read Quran for they do one khatma like this. Is this allowed?
Okay.
And second question is, my mother, she tells me not to apply the perfume because it will attract jinn and jinn will come and attack, something like that. She says that her mother said to her not to apply.
Not to wear any perfume because it will attract jinn?
Yeah, no, jinn will come. No, jinn will come on you like that. Something.
If you wear perfume, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
He's a robber.
Okay. Jazakallah khair, Brother Hamza there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
I want to take this last question because I'm afraid we'll run out of time before tackling this. This is very, very important.
Okay, can we take Sister Asya and then we continue, inshallah? We have Sister Asya from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, Sister.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I was the last one to accept the question. But my first question, one of the mosques in Manchester in summer, the Imam joins Dhuhr and Asr Salah together. And in winter, Maghrib and Isha. Is this allowed? Question number 2, is travel and tourism business haram? Question number 3, do Prophet's wives, Sahabiyat and Sahabiyat used to wear socks those days to cover the feet? If Asian ladies wear shalwar and that goes below the ankle, do they are supposed to still wear the socks to cover the feet?
Okay.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa yakum. Very systemized there, Sister Asya there. Yes, you said you would like to tackle Brother Hamza's question about the applying the perfume?
Simply, I would just repeat what I normally say, which is, as true Muslims, we need to make distinction between what's religious and what's cultural with regards to teachings, instructions, and guidelines, unless if what's cultural agrees or coincides to what's religious. Meaning that if there is a habit that Islam approves, which is cultural, it is okay, that is permissible. But if there is something that will be mandating an act to be done or abstaining from something not to do it, then in this condition we have to consult religion. We consult the Quran and the Sunnah. I don't say my mother or my grandmother, and I can never forget this incident where I have met a physician in one of the Islamic centers. Every time that we praise Maghrib, after we finish the prayer, and he's a young man, like in his 30s, he would sit down while praying the Sunnah. So he never prayed the Nawafil standing. Rather, he would sit down. So I thought he had some sort of illness. And that's why I was reluctant to ask him for a while. Then I summoned my courage and I asked him, are you okay? Are you aching or are you having any pain somewhere? He said, no, I'm physically fit. I said, so why do you pray while sitting? He said, because my mother told me that you cannot stand up if you're praying Sunnah. You have to sit down. I was shocked to know that. How could somebody be highly educated in worldly science to the extent that he's a doctor, one of my colleagues, but when it comes to religion, his only source of information was his grandmother or his mother, similar to one who's wearing a talisman. You try to convince him to take it off. He says, my grandmother said, if you ever take it off, some bad will happen to you. That's not right, brothers and sisters. We need to ask the Quran and the Sunnah whether this is right or not. As a matter of fact, with regards to perfume, halal, perfume and cologne, the Prophet ﷺ said, حُبِّبَ إِلَيَّ مِن دُنْيَاكُمْ الطِّيبُ وَالنِّسَاء. This is one of the two things which the Prophet ﷺ used to love most. In several ahadith, one of them is in Sahih Imam al-Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ instructed us towards some traditions, sunan, nawafil, before going for Friday prayer, وَأَنْ يَمَسَّ طِيبًا إِنْ وَجَدْ, and to wear cologne or perfume or fragrance if you can afford it. While he prohibited women from wearing fragrance or perfume if they are leaving their homes, because that will be a mean of fitna if men would find their fragrance. This is an act which is very dispraised and cursed by Allah and His Messenger ﷺ. But for a woman wearing perfume for her husband, you receive a reward for that. For a man wearing cologne or perfume, It is okay, it is permissible. And if you wear it with an intention that you smell good, and people would find good fragrance from you, there are several ahadith in this regard. So the information which you just delivered that somebody taught you that the perfume would attract the jinn or whatever is totally false. Rather, wearing perfume is recommended by the Prophet ﷺ and said, this is one of the things which if you're ever offered, you should not refuse. If somebody takes some oil or fragrance, you should not say, no, I don't want to. You should rather accept it.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. If we can look at his second question, with the same question Brother Muhaib from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia asked last week. He said, can he dedicate the recitation of the Quran to his dead father? And Brother Hamza is asking as well, it's a tradition in India and Pakistan to recite the entire Quran for the dead. Is there any authentic statement?
The Prophet ﷺ never did so, nor any of his companions, nor is it approved by the rightly guided khulafa or the fuqaha. So, what is the best way to benefit the dead? One, charity. Second, let me begin over. One, dua, invocation. Make dua for them. That is the best. It will cost you no money, and it will not take any time. Charity, given in charity on their behalf, continuous charity. Perform other Hajj or Umrah on their behalf, have they not performed theirs. It is permissible, whether you are relative or not, or paying somebody to do it on their behalf, that too is permissible. If you recite Quran, then after you finish your recitation, you make dua for them, that too is a good act and it will benefit them. Not through the Quran, because you give them their word. Brothers and sisters, if you read the Quran, make sure that you reserve this reward for your own self. Many people have this habit and say, oh, Allah gave the reward of what I recited to the Prophet ﷺ. No, you need it more. Because every time you recite Quran, or you pray, or you fast, or you make Hajj, or you do any good deed, a similar reward is going to the Prophet ﷺ automatically. So you need to benefit from this reward. Then after you finish, if you want to make dua for the entire ummah, and for your beloved dead person, this is the thing or the act which is approved and recommended as well.
Okay, Brother Mukhtar from the UAE also asked, he said if his clothes is clean and his body is clean, but he doesn't have ablution, which is wudu, can he read the Quran in Arabic?
If you don't have a major impurity, which is sexual discharge or sexual contact, or women during their menstruation, it is permissible to read the Quran even without wudu. But touching the Quran or holding the Quran requires wudu. And when I say permissible, it doesn't mean it's okay either way or other way are the same. No. Wudu is highly recommended before doing any righteous act, especially reading the Quran or making dua. But is it permissible to make dua and read the Quran without wudu? Yes, it is.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Shaykh, for being with us today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward and protect you always. We also like to thank all the viewers who tuned in today to Ask Huda. If you have any questions remaining, you can always send it to ask@huda.tv. And don't forget, you can keep supporting us here at Huda TV by writing that email to support@huda.tv. And don't forget to visit our website, www.huda.tv. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
If my love is attached to thee, then from sins I will be free. Each time my heart will beat, your name will resound with heat. Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.